Sigi topics na BEGC 105 ki American literature ki part mo ini ko. Blog number 3 short fiction category. Unit number 2 O. Henry after 20 years ko. Sigi topics na O. Henry hariba kugi story writer how ko. American story writer how gi magi yamna celebrated hai tare ko. Wari malay after 20 years ai na ko. Madu do sigi topics da masi discuss tabo ni ko. Objectives are delineate the plot of after 20 years. So after 20 years, what is that? Masiki plot. We not trace to work. Have it. Kari degi kamain laki bano. Sida character ja ani dangni ko. Major character ani dangni. Mapani gi wari ko. The policeman namaga, magi friend namaga unabagi wari ni ko yan. Spoil to jung. Have it. One by one, we what is little by little we explore to minasi ko. Na he hope the gi wari is one solution bani ko some bani have to I to indiro ko. Noi parambas yor bi ai ko. Noi marakta sigi wari je parabo kangu yor bani. Ona masi some important noiba story ni ko si we American fiction da one of the most popular bu hai bi ai ko sigi after 20 years of the O. Henry get to wari for example the gift of the Magi kan le ko sugum baze we ki American short story ki collection have tare ko muja dum yaur ga dum lai ga to ko magun adu ki matik lai ga wari yang have tare ko of the second the objective se ko si ki se describe O. Henry's technique of characterization. Characterization hai the character ama jaman describe to ba ko character ma jaman ka qualities chelan ba character ma japuna kamaina with the explore to ba adu me am ko ni dunia ko character ani dang ni ko si am ba character na te Jimmy Wells have a character amga bo am yabu ko kana no have to the na wari to gi tang to yor kan da discuss to ko outline the background and atmosphere to sina background of the story ko atmosphere ha ga di wari ma sagat pa kan da so story ma ko create to kan da atmosphere ha jina ku surrounding to have the with the suspense phone bra with the passion ba phone bra with the jing ba phone bra ka have the atmosphere o to ne wari to gi atmosphere ko ku na wari do little by little apne explore to kanda siga wari je karamba direction sa kidoino siga wari je kamaina ki kamai tare lotion doino have to apne sutana tamna to atmosphere gi part mo dune last analyze O. Henry's prose style and O. Henry na iramba magi prose ko short fiction ba kai kumba novel kumba ko short fiction kumba siga karamba style de ki have to apne explore to ni masira analyze to ni explore to ni ko masini koi objective mari je masi ko discuss to badap se Introduction call. We will be discussing a short story by O. Henry, an American writer called Nangasidi Wari Amatangni. Short story ni kuyam sang banate. Only a few pages ko. Yana su nuai ba. Yan su ten ba hai ba tare ko. Di yam na excuse me. Plot to yam na heavy oi da ba hai ko. Wari ni ko after 20 years ai sa. Do ne ko discuss to ko. First book, Cabbages and Kings, 1904, is a series of stories about his experience in Texas, USA. O. Henry ahan balai ko mana phong gi bhai tare Cabbages and Kings ko 1904 the phong gi bani sida ma collection of short stories ne ko awna sida man anthology hai tare ko bari macha macha mayam samna da bhai tare ko ma samna da novel gum na tab mari collection of short stories so madun ma gi ahan balai ne phong gi his stories are mostly about people in New York City. Yes, city da leiba matam dugi New York City the labor ko me singi common everyday people hire again ko middle class people hire again my hire ko wiki workers sing ko wiki office worker police officers ko or they day to day mo gi tabak thor gana traffic company am da tabak to office na tabak to me sing to mo gi day to day struggles hire ko no mo gi ko mo ne tin na mo gi awa ba de bu hai kera mo no tin na mo gi challenges to bu hai kera madu gi matang ni ne aduna masmani irak panina O. Henry ni irakba story sing se yamna relatable jo ko have the common people sing ko sigi wari ji de amon de apply to ko sigi wari ji de ai ki wari ai ki pun sigi wari khara manai ne kaina ka adum phau jo ko pen pa kan ko have the yamna far fetched oi ba har ko adugum wari na de O. Henry ni irak to ko yamna thaza be aba utopia aba have tare of course twist ending mumba ko the next point I say his unexpected story endings became his trademark have the mana twist ending ko gi noina if Manipur border to Manipur ko last 10 gida ko gi na the diamond necklace kind of mani ko gidi mo pasan no ko aina gidi mo pasan palise ka gina ko kanda O. Henry ka gidi mo pasan ka yamna comparison na tawe ko critics na ko mo gi writing style manabagi mo gi twist ending ya manabagi manaba habiti quality to masama sa gi unique oi ba magun dilai ko adu mo ni ki chor pa kanda di yamna manaba jaka khai yo ko na America's reply to France's Gidi mo pasan kan jo hype kan I mean in a good way ko comparison ja apart from the compare to aduna magi wari sen losalak pakanda haibida akoina khalui duga ko akoina e wari sumai losin tung mali wari ji sigi lambi da salak tung mali na khalu duga akoigi reality da mana iram ki style ji yamna twist ama ko haibidi unexpected ohen ko param duga haibidi chumna salam badagi ka hetare suddenly divert to ki bhayare ko wari to aduga atopa angle am losin ba atopa ka hetare wari losin mai mong ama duga ko akoina expect to da adagi thidorok je adu bu akoina magi hetare twist ending ju ko aduna magi story ending se magi adugumba twist em yawbudagi ko mana o Henry no bu irati magi wari story oragadi twist ending yarangani twist ka hetare mai wari lo shula pakanda expect to do oira mo have se dum ko isa da dum kidan phaw ngame ko pa ba ko pakanda maduni ko sin introduction ni o Henry Orozco mangun de han hosiko magi life ko haibadi mana irakpagi mong je magi life haibadi writer sing haidi moina mogi punsi da thingna giba mogi life experiences mogi lived experience have ko madum me amde ki so tum lowi ko wari se ko na sigi wari ji ju tum o Henry ki masa makta tum kahta kitang apply to be have because as we will come to know ko tang we point by point par kan dam kena aina explain to kan hen clear kan ko sigi wari je o Henry masa mak su criminal offense to bagi madu jail le ro no pani ko ado will come to that point when we come to that point continue works include the gift of the magi and you thang pan record si je short story mani yamna famous ba si je ko gi ba gi syllabus yaw bani ko ko no ba quit ke ta record quit sorry FYUP ko 4 year undergraduate program yaw ngani ha ba dei thang jingna bo yaw phawi ko to bu mamang yaw mani ko si lo thong be si hapam gi be ko no thing ram be yamna ten ba wari ni si ko yamna common ba 11 job to dum tam mani ko the gift of the magi the duplicity of Hargraves is and the ransom of Red Chief. See, we are correct and selected and famous as well as the novel Cavises and Kings. So, the Cavises and Kings is important novel. Stories known for their naturalist observations, witty narration, and surprise endings. O Henry Iraq Bawari Singh naturalist observations. Haragadi life realism ka mari lena duni ko sisa. Akoina romanticized of the punches entire ko haibadi as it is habit ko ina writer mana uba mana experience to je aduda kemta akoigi without any beautification hagadra ko without any extra hapta bidatum portray to je au budubu objectively akoina uraga scientific objectivism habit ko aduda akoina uraga akoigi reality jiga my stories ka comparison ji amtina close to hand ko yamna thaidok the reality gi madu bo naturalist observations ko witty narration have the witty had the yamna smart ba ira pakan ko have the wari san of the conversation gaman I pakan ko ki o Henry na wari ira pakan ko character ni wari san pakan da yamtina witty we ba yamna sing ba ko hai tare ko Manipuri dan sing ba ko video je adu mo yaw ko and surprising today mamang so ko my wari sing je lo salak pakan da kitang akoina thajaru da ko so wari just mind with that kala da the mind lotion ko and ko akoina thajaru da mongam de to sangi ba to bo akoina surprise endings ko Porter's legacy Porter has king of kanda O Henry have city pen name pseudonym ni ko magi asing ba maming nate mai asing maming de William Sidney Porter have ni ko ma se on the mana O Henry hariba pen name de loraga like I ba hogi ne sorcery ba hogi ne ko mai aming asing magi de William Sidney Porter go ni ko am kanjun biro Porter's legacy includes the O Henry Award, an annual prize awarded to outstanding short story. And also the O Henry Award have like matuli to say kudingi kwagi kwai best stories haida ko best story to the kwagi p ko message ko kwagi award kalamani O Henry maming lora ko magi short story ki yam fasaba kwai digi fasaba short story to the O Henry Award have say kudingi music should be ko adu Born on September 11, 1862 in North Carolina during American Civil War. American Civil War has Abraham Lincoln president in the Northern Federation ga Southern Confederates ga land emancipation of the black slaves ko matam do African American ko matam do hire Negroes ka have ko jikudi politically correct o term na treko of the sugumba meam jigi marata ma poki bani ko 1862 the American Civil War 1891 da began working at First National Bank of Austin, Texas, University of as teller and bookkeeper on the mana bank that about Horeko, Sigi photo and at so Magi railing him to the Lepin Pazeco with the mustache, Simasama O Henry Nico, Magi on photo. Adubu Porter careless in keeping his books and may have embezzled funds on the mana bank teller in the Tabutoing it mana मासे थोइंकी माना पुरान बनी हाइबति नतेको अदु माना कितंग चिक्सनदबदगी हाइगद्रा माना माइ थबक तोबदा कितंग सोइबा हाइरगेने को अदु तोबदगी माना पिसादो फन बकै गुंबसे ट्रांसफर तोबो कोबदा मान कितंग जेनाबा यावबदगी मासे जेलदा लेगिदुनेबा सिदगी निको आइन साइ ममांग दुस हाइग्रे माना जेलदा लेगिबा मी हात खोटपा नत्रा मिंगोंदा क्राइम कमिट तोरबो मति नतेको मासे बैंक ता थबक तोरिंगता पैसागी मतंग कितंग जेनाबा म लेगिबदगी मासे जेलदा लेगिबने found guilty on February 17, 1898 of embezzling $854.08 ko, sentenced to 5 years in prison. Duga maze guilty oina maze phange ko sa February ta project 1898 da odai mana guilty oina na jail le beta ni ko pisa je man khara general bagi hari ko $854 ko odai maze sahi manga jail ta le kedam ne habi phadok ma phangki. He had 14 stories published under various pseudonyms while he was in prison. Mana sida William Sidney Porter have a ming to my real name to God to see Nadre, Mana jail the laying it up, and a prison the laying it up. Mana Iba Horeko, Atuga Maming Atoto Pem Sineco, upon the Budi Mana or Henry have it quite popular about quite the Mana Catare, Sina Giba Maming Nico, Adu Atopa means Karsina Giman. Was becoming best known as O. Henry, a pseudonym that first appeared over the story Whistling Dick's Christmas Stocking. Sigi maming se O. Henry have ming di magi wari ko Whistling Dick's Christmas Stocking hari pa sigi wari sigi the edit sto ba maming du ne bu sina ko tharana O. Henry have say I see hapre ko jailer ama ko gi guard hai tai ko jail gi guard am gi maming di lo bu ne hai ko critics in the muje they are divided ko tharana magi maming se magi friend nam da gi mana why ba ne hai ko tharana jail the labor guard aming maming to mana low bani hai ko so it's very hard to say ko O. Henry masana de dum katare ma ju magi opinion share rom ko O. Henry jam the high was like ko and very king maming se O. Henry has go woman ko my stand out to hai tar ko to maming ni marta na multiple theories ko maming se khai dila was released on July 24, 1901 for good behavior after serving 3 years. Maje sahi manga jail to lega to madi I have the violent no minate ko maje mingonda laluba mi bu halu kholu na tab na magi di non violent crime na ko sai matang na chena bi matang na chel leru na sahi yum le matung da maje thalo pire ko sahi manga lega to good behavior gi grounds maje sahi yum gi matung da thado Most prolific writing period started in 1902 when he moved to New York City. Oh, na 1902 the mana New York City da home ke magi ma kum to ko ma si lohong at this time he was already married ko ana lohong tum da man si da 1902 da mana New York City da sapakanta magi writing career se amuki hena advance hoki si da and I got my writing career se it took a massive jump habitare ko do you want ko ana mana ibedum handigi iba hore ko mana ma ki Nebraska Texas ko Austin da le ngi iba hui adubu New York City da la ka da dang ne man hena prolific in high ko my most prolific period set ko quite produced over god wari quite young even tangak se 1902 da mana New York City la kan di level on the ko excuse me. While there, he wrote 381 short story. Mana da later kan New York City later kan ko 381 short story. Yami ko si dia magi production jam tiu bang habitare man ibi sa ko wari mai ibda it takes sometimes a weeks ko na mana 381 short stories ibang am bahai se ma je tum he was a very gifted habitare ko gifted as well as talented story writer habitare magi quality do am like na mana produce bang Most of Porter's stories are set in his own time, the early 20th century. Yes, the mana can in the past the worries you yelled up in the Yawiko, Adubo Ayamba worry, mana Iraqi majority, Magi Porter, Matam to early 20th century had in 1900s, 1910, 1920s, but to the Ayamana base or E. And I go on that, but China hiding is a kind of Bukanda, O. Henry na mana E. What is sings. Masagi own personal experiences mana thingna gi ba ko man uba mana thingna ba man experience to ba magi life events have tare ko life events traga magi ka tare experiences man the base to ka magi stories in ji ba frequently feature working class characters like policemen and waitresses as well as criminals and social outcasts ona magi o Henry gi wari ayamba have tare ko we middle class things as I give to middle class characters, policemen, gumba, teachers, gumba, waitresses, gumba, the office workers, gumba, the criminals as well as social outcasts. Social outcasts are the society the periphery the labor natraga society ne accept of withdraw maybe hippie have a natraga those who are not accepted as a part of society. Adugumba missing do mana magi wari singda pasana portrait to be was called the American answer to French naturalist Guy de Maupassant. Nasai hope the kitan to Padreco. Guy de Maupassant have say French writer the diamond necklace called the Maya to worry and make magiso. On the Mazu Yamtina famous social writer Aduna O Henriga Guy de Maupassant said favorably compared to Vero. The qualities twist ending witty dialogues over Caesar, Guy de Maupassant ki way is Yawina, Apanimak say compared to in a positive way. We America Gizu, Guy de Maupassant Gumba, Magunyam Leba, with the social writer Layina, O Henry's America version in Lobia. A heavy drinker by 1908. His markedly deteriorating health affected his writing. Heavy drinker do Maspalna, Yam Tabanina, my health is effect like that. Died on June 5th, 1910, of cirrhosis of the liver, complications of diabetes, and an enlarged heart in 1910. My position 1860s, 1910, later alcoholic, where liver cirrhosis, the last is people have been living $1.87 in chains. The amount of their last savings in the gift of the Magi on Porter's grave for at least 30 years. Now, symbolic appreciation point photo of the Maggie grave William Sidney Porter had the O. Henry Maggie grave Maggie fans in Habitat Maggie worries readers in $1.87. She's a man Maggie grave. As a symbolic gesture, the gift of the Magi have worried about the gift of the Magi. Not the topics ago. The character may always deline a Manapisa to Zenjaraga, Magi husband get the gift of Malebiki and the Manapisa to Zenjaraga, the Pisato and the library $1.87. Now, however, my worry hopes ago. Out again to the Mangam channel. Masiki amount O. Henry, William Sidney Porter have the Paziki, my grave, Magi readers in O. Henry, key fans in Habitat, Magi, now we appreciate the Vibago. Me, ma'am, not Tambira, my graves, symbolic gesture. Malkaitare, October graves and a big rose, Mother flower, cut but mine Magi graves now, Mana, Magi Barim, the sin, give amount of $1.87. So, plot off after 20 years. So, before we start with the plot, let's bring it up. Then we get to the O. Henry's. O. Henry's sorcery writer, Magi sorceries, more than 400 later. Sometimes 500 poor beko. Atuga Madugi Maratuda, Yam popular visit the gift of the Magi later. After 20 years later. The last leaf kind of season with Taramobia. The last leaf say wiki CBSC background labor viewers in Coquisators in the Rambia, see the Miobanico. Magi man Iraq Posico, naturalist observations and shine, the realism the base that we have. Romanticized to the reality as it is have the cost is a mana uruba, mana tingaruba, mana hingo, Adu mana writings as well to and they call the mana hinzenba, hapsenba, or the extra hapsen the game to give witty narration and surprise endings. And surprise endings have a higher. We twist ending have to go to the maze and even the Yawi, having the queen of readers in the Tazaruba, readers in the song direction, Sakitra had the Hiraga, a top direction, Takiba, Sugum, was going to sending of a go to one. Already Magi legacies, Magi importance, seven basis, Karimba basis, the Kangya have a kind of O. Henry or whatever, I'm not popular way or they call America. This is now wiki, so he do give best of story, but the Kangalaga habitat, so you price PM. Mazeduna, North Carolina, American Civil War given the Popani, Mayan Hand, Maze, Bank, the Tautomi, Teller Moina, Amazon, bookkeeper. Adubu, Mana section the wiki history of the Maze section, the beginning Hiko, Adu Maze Pisagmatan, the Kachanabagi, Pisaje can have a kind of $854 from Chetaki, but the Maze, Himanga, Ziel, the lake, Pato to Pungi, and Masco have the sentence to have that. Alugama Jelle, Matungama, Ibahoki, the German Academy, O. Henry have means about Tonsagrisico. Atopa pseudonyms called not a pen name to Comeamo Masinagi, Adubu, quite Queen, Mapu, Queen readers of Queen Mapu Kangorisity, O. Henry means in the Kangoria. Atuga Majas a Manga like Dabuto, my good behavior to Yanga, say he only Matunda Majadum, Jelly Tadopire. Atuga Mana say in 1901, the Jelly Tola Matunda, 1902, the Maje, New York City, the Lab. New York City lapa kanda de magi writing career ja automatic level amada yogi toise ko haibadi jump amale toise mana New York City leading da 391 short stories e ko misi yam yame ko total de ma 500 mia le mbi and even more do mbi ko most of Porter's stories are set in its own time, the early 20th century. Now, Porter in Tropa Kandati, Madi naturalist in a ko, Magi Matam ko, early 20th century ko, 1910, 1920s ko. Doon mo dahil base story ka. Ayam na 1910 sa itala ni ko, doon base story ka maze matamdugi workers ko, matamdugi policemen, matamdugi waitress ko, matamdugi criminal social outcasts. Haibadi ang common people haibadi ko, muy humbasda mana character do adugumba ohele ko my character sinje ko policeman oiba office worker oiba ko adai di waitress oiba adugumba yamna mana adum uba pang mana thunau de into go setu mana tra coffee um thai thung de into ko kanda lambi sa khibe o character gumba ko lambi sa khibe mi policeman ko mai moi matam de policeman je bit gumba wa ko ko haibadi ma ki patrolling jaga ko sai am para ka tum patrolling cha tunya ko khanganda sa tunya ko adugumba de ki mana bi influence or ka ma ki wari da ka policeman character de hapsun madunika was called the American answer to French naturalists. Gidi Maupassant is a higher copton again. Gidi Maupassant is a French story writer. Cop as a France Guinea. Mani Tropas or story sings you to sending a Yavali. Duga common people to jump base or illegal Gidi Maupassant. Magiatuna, Magi writing Saljiga, a quickie or Henry writing Saljiga Yamana Dina, Maman is a favorably had a upper room to go compared to Mexico. France na Gidi Maupassant lay America no o Henry lay having mong the compared to be abani mag yamna apawa itoropode and magun labor ko writer ani magun adu bolai activity maje heavy drinker ni na 1908 ta magi haksang si amtina social life ko de maji ko pa yang nam gitre aduga sahi ani le matunda 1910 da maje liver ki problem ko diabetes ki problem ka level ki mas lay gitre aduma lay kita matunda magi legacy se adukimatik kamna fazana le hoke haba kanda magi reader sing magi wari pahoba myamna magi wari to appreciate to biba myamna $1.87 in change achu with have niko size wigi dela hariba character the gift of the magi have yamna popular stories that dela hariba bi masam yawiko the wife of Jim ko niko husband magi the biduna magi husband gi the gift from the bk having bisatu nanjar ko only $1.87 tang tuzen mangam zabako madugi amount se important be amount ko size Porter gi haibadi O Henry gi grave ta mai mong ko haiba tare ko mi magi reader sing nadu symbolic oina thambira me jidai photo on the text so ko so plot of after 20 years ji koi after 20 years hari ba short story je koi hobi are ko masida major character ani ni Jimmy Wells haiboga Bob haibon ko mabani se Jimmy Wells and Bob both brought up in New York and were close friends so the mo je being eta mabani amna luniti na mama bani ni ko mabani se decided they would meet at same place exactly 20 years later. Oh na, mo ise matam do ko. We 20 years ago haire kin ko. Na si wari after 20 years do so. Mabani na ngang wedding ita. Mabani je masama sagi journey ko. Life ki journey imda sakin ba. Mabani na promise to na ko. Si heaven no misidagi koi chahi kun gi matunda ibani thinaji ko ibani successful oidabra if we are alive ko dimo ko to see mo comes the exact spot the exact time the exact place the koi thinaji no bani promise to gi ko adu mo bani jang close by am chino friend ko adu ma bani je masama sagi journey destiny habita ko sakre Bob I don't know Bazico. So Jimmy Wells Bob after 20 years comes to the spot where Big Joe used to be and waited anxiously for his friend Jim. Big Joe I is a restaurant at the point after 20 years to later the Big Joe's restaurant album Bob Bob policeman on his beat met Bob and told by the later about the appointment met 20 years before policeman am like madi just policeman am na lakon thok ko magi just patrolling la hire kin ko madi just check to la ko chai par hire la ko kan da Bob ka thingara policeman duga Bob to wari sana ko Bob na policeman ai man pa Jimmy Wells abi man bam dai to maji abani chahi kun gi mamangda bani kendo gi bani wasang gi bani ko promise to gi bani chahi kun gi matungda bani mafam jita pung tangka asida ko gi same time same place ko masida thingna je ban hana gi bani adu gi ai officer ati police na haine ko ai man ba ngai sa ban haire ko Bob mentioned he became rich in the west wondered whether Jimmy did well now Bob na ko magi policeman wari sa ko sai di west sa le ko my fortune to na ba haibda ko my bisa tan na ba magi business ko whatever business kai di haide ko to ma bisa pai di khang ko bob se to man ka ai ma na ba jimmy to di kamai to do san ne kuidi kuire unagi da bana tra sahi kun yo mang de unagi bani ala ma su khang na tre ko ala ai di som di bisa pai re ai som da ngai re to jimmy di ma di bisa pai ra sala ma di ngai ra sala ma di matik sara sala kan ma na sum wari sala ba kan police to wari sala kan ma sum hang ko policeman proceeded on his beat. Jimmy waited for 20 minutes for his friend. A tall man came directly to Bob and told him he was Jimmy. The police team had waited to Tarago, hire Mogam Chakako, Sacramatunda Jimmy did not have it, and to make good Matunda Lerakanda, Pakistan wanted to own Palm Laga, Bob the Mana, Jimmy and the to the story. Adupan is always an echo, and I always Harama say he couldn't do Nare, Aduga, one version from Lapakan reached a drugstore have the pharmacy kum have the Bob in the lights found that the other person was not Jimmy. I don't want to think that we street them to cut down on a mummy to was a guy to go and worry shot we must to go mind to take a mind cam home my was a command to recollect Uto Banish Lamina finally Moina pharmacy Megan and Tango lighting for Zanto was a guy Europe candidate Bob Namotoga Mamma young candidate my mom but that the have some coming. So not don't get set and have Roman save not on Panbani, Jimmy Wills in Nangi deep box set never can have any quite the Hapag track on the side of the Pavlan in Organico. Or the Patokuna, Hydureva. The other person revealed his identity as a policeman on the Palm ID police name. ID Nangi friend Jimmy Nate Hydure. Informed Bob that he was there to arrest Bob, the gangster who was wanted by the Chicago police or now police in the call. Undercover habitat as me and Topos Hala in the Malay. Nang gangster ni kangi Bob's a gangster will learn on a Satan give a mong on a Bisampai give a mong Simeon to Mala Kangle on top of the Ziki Bob City criminal oil to Mana Chicago police na the kitty about criminal oil Adubu. Mana criminal oraga, mana padureko police na. Another revelation when Bob, from the little piece of paper handed over to him, comes to know that the patrolman who he had met first was Jimmy. Adubo. Excuse me? Atopa revelation amana karino abakanda. Jimmy sidama piko police to na Bob da aduga. Side man ihana tina give up. From the mana ngairing it, the Big Joe's restaurant, three manata mana ngairing it, tina give up policeman ko say mahunga laki policeman do. Ato Jimmy Wells will learn it. Chineba wiki twist ending high sick. But inside Hana, the wiki, one hand in neighbor, police store, Jimmy or when he has one colluted park, Adubu, my policeman door, my hand in the policeman door, my dear friend Habatarico, my long lost friend Habatare, Jimmy or there. Recognizing his friend Bob as a gangster, Jimmy could not arrest him. Although Mana side Jimmy the Yahan in the Kangre. And I go, have a deep Bob, I said, my mom say. Criminal or names Makang. Adubu, Mana, auto respect, Habatarico, Mana, Dubun Chisonina, Mana, Panning the Winoko, Mana Papa, I would say, humiliating when you got kind of Poko on the Mana Pabi Abdo, Mana Padabita, Mia to Taraga, policeman at home Tarapan. Send a plain clothes man to do the job. Have the police come with a wiki Ketare. Casual dress civil seller when the Pahan Baneva. With this revelation, the story ends. Oh no, point or go worry Loiko. Aduna, what is a Ganga over the Habakanda? Jimmy Wells have a gun. Bob have a character and he's a Banisa, Yamanaha wedding in the New York, the Minerapani, Jominapanko. Adubu, Mabanina, Big Joe's restaurant, Hariba, restaurant Mount, so he couldn't give a mount. Before 20 years, Mabani say, Masamasagi. Punsigi journey life journey so kaga moise sahi kun matungda moise successful oikera or oikera hing na di habi mong ko mabani je thingna je haina wasang na kiba atuga atugi promise gi matungda mabani je samasagi journey sakhre decided they would meet at same place exactly 20 years later ona musida moina sahi kun matungda ibani je thingna ji ko haina mabani promise tong naraga Jimmy Wells sai nu pachu angang su har ko matam du ko Bob Harry Bangang Juna Haji Chumapani said separate ways sakre. Bob, after 20 years, came to the spot where Big Joe's used to be and waited anxiously for his friend Jim on Bob to demand life. Masida Quina discovered over Yazikarina Bakana characterization. Bob said Maze Kangeba, Maze wanted men have some Mamsan Kangini. Adubu, Mana Magi friendship set, Jimmy Wells Kamapani friendship set, Mana automatic Lumna we have Masida Quina. explore to be a Maje, even though Maje gangster ni, Maje criminal ni have this chumeba. Adubu, Sigi Magi actions the Gatariko, Mana, Maje Pagi BI, Maje police na Pabi, police na Maje Kangi BI, Kangna, Mana, Jimmy Wells put Nabala is Nanti, Maje true friend have say Laloya. Both of the 20 years came to the spot where Big George used to be and waited anxiously for his friend Jim on the Mana Turkila in Evo. Man down the road, the recall of the lunar is a I believe Madi Bob the gangster, Bob the criminal or the zoo, Man the man of the Unyaning Medina, my man say he couldn't give was a type of promise have type of mission given enough Mana Pawi Sansile, Adubu Aiman of those say he couldn't give among the Ayo Maga. Promise to given in a manner, Harvard translator, Harvard translator, so on the WRD had a line. This shows that Bob was a true friend, Majas, a tumba, Yamna, our friend, has come. Policeman on his beat met Bob and told by the later about the appointment made 20 years before. So the Singh policeman said, like, why do you explain to be a policeman? Man patrolling the light. Bob na guiding the policeman thing of the order, but Singh policeman Jimmy Wells. Man haiduk to ndareko man adu kaino kan Bob tu bakan tu ta oh ai man Bob say he has become a gangster ko maje sei kun matung da thina bakan oh ai man Bob say Chicago police na phagi hena tanari ba gangster Bob to oiler me ma kha du mana phabi ya sidani ko Jimmy Wells su Bob su anima good friends ne happy ya mogi character na dum ole ko mogi action ole ba tare Bob na kamai ut ke haba kanda mana Pabia, Kangna, a Nasi is a Rajita, Halagadi, New York Halagadi, I say policeman in Ragadi, Lusna is a Kangragadi, I say Pabia, Kanga, Mama Manapado, Natabiati, Happy Malaki. Jimmy Wells, my friendships come out to Kapakanda, Mana Pabia, Bokta, Mana was it, Mana Pabia, you are under arrest, Scott, Nang Bobni, Nang wanted criminal money, Nang gangster, Chicago police, Nakuita River, criminal money, and Mana Pabia, Adu Mana, Ikaigini, Mana Kamana power, Kaigini, is a happen to my dignity happens to Ona Madu Kalaga, Mana, Maze, Jimmy Wells, and I took the video, to minister Kilvin, I took me to Mazu, Maze, he's a policeman as well as a friend. Maze is also a good friend, is also a good policeman, have a type. Ona. My mama, mana friend no more criminal or mana mana part of the attack. Adu mana power not the mana policeman at Tala Pan because mana power of the Bob na Yana Nungai rid of it, and they got Bob saying Kai is talking and disappointed in Portuguese Masama to the on oh Aina from the criminal or Igimana, but not from the policeman over having man who is a rid of the Maggie shock to be despair on Jimmy Wells no do not mana. This shows that Jimmy Wells was also a true friend. Bob Jimmy Wells. Bob mentioned he became rich in the West, wondered whether Jimmy did well. On the Sunday, Bob na Madian Nuare, Pisapire, Colleris, a gangster over the Guinea. And that honest means to give up. My honest with the Satan, as a gangster or a criminal or a time. Mana Calico. Police to the high Nico. Mana police say. Jimmy ne Kanda with the Mahinus. Jimmy to the command of Zane. Maga Ikas Ekun, your man was given in the Madras Polatry. I is on the Sapire, Nuare, Adubu, Jimmy demanding my Pisaka Pirazala, or Nuarazala, or settled or Salak and Hans Manza with everyone. Policeman proceeded on his beat. Police to Taramatunda Madicam hand with Sakako. On his beat, I got the Magi patrolling some to Sakako. Jimmy waited 20 minutes for his friend. A tall man came directly to Bob and told him that he was Jimmy. Adukamana Bob Singa record, police is secret. Lunga Kanda, Nikumukanda, Nupamala, for one from Pamko, to a man introduced a Jimmy near High because he couldn't mount to. So he couldn't the me must succeed a young vehicle. I think that Nundang the thing of Nundang the women of time. Nundang or with Amambanina, have the music was not clearly going and saying Bungam Damina. Bob Sudum Tazare, Jimmy, Zikin Pazina, a Jimmy have a kind of box, oh, and Jimmy or the head of the East couldn't know none, say, walking seminar of corporations. Reached a drugstore, Bob, in the lights, found out that the other person was not Jimmy. Adubu, Moina, like Minaraga, some Minaracanda, walking to seminar and Habitatiko. Bob na, Wiki, among the Zagadics and Tolaga, and Wiki drugstore, pharmacy, Kumbama, Yamay for Natan, Magi, Mayanduda. moina lakna ba kan thina ba kan ko madu da Bob mo sang nang Jimmy na te har pa ne ko Jimmy je ma mai na ton di Roman shape ko ni ko tumani tangi na ton di box shape ni ha ba tumna to ko fusion ba ga ta ko ni adu har ko di police na ma do re ko the other person revealed his identity as a policeman madu na Chumenang hai do ai Jimmy Wells na te ai di police ni hai do re ma phabla policeman informed Bob that he was there to arrest Bob, the gangster who was wanted by the Chicago police. Or the man who police na ko. Ay na nang laize, nang mupagen lakni, nang je gangster ni ko Chicago police na ko itan tanari bunu pam nang je or nang pawai na is tharak pani nang phato ni hai. Another revelation when Bob, from the little piece of paper handed over to him, comes to know that the patrolman whom he had met first was Jimmy. Sidani ko. Ona shock chale ko Bob se ko ma je phabla hai de ko duga chema se lam pire mo the policeman ko chema se to paro kan di zeki ma bu hana thing gi ba police ma patrolling to la ko da ba madu to magi real friend Jimmy Wells oile recognizing his friend Bob as a gangster Jimmy could not arrest him ona Jimmy do na police o jara ga ko mana magi ma mana ba do excuse me mana thingna ba kan ko mana jung khai mai mama na budi ju khangi but mama na budi hindu na gangster were mama na ne khangi criminal am were ju khangi ba auna Jimmy na mana phani na ga ju ko ma as a policeman magi mathong ne magi duty ne ba ta criminal sing phaba gangster sing phaba se policeman amagi magi to ko mathong adubu he was also a true friend ne ba haja yamna chum friend am were na ko friend am were na mana Jimmy na Bob se phaba ngam gi ta personally phabangam bidam haiba tare ba ma sama phabangam bidam ni because Bob na mungai jarui da ba ko Bob ni kai ga to ba Bob na humiliated foul da ba myam da Jimmy na khangbi ba na mana phabe muhutta atoba policeman na tharaga pahan bane send a plainclothes man to do his job with this the story ends on mana ni atoba policeman atoba thare na atuga policeman atoba jin na mun pahan bane ma sala phabe muhutta sini ko wari smalo ko da we characterize no being ji aduga we plot ki we mong je ko mani ibn ko no twist ending do we study to je ko dramatic quality of the story when the patrolman meets the person there is suspense which makes readers go through the portion anxiously to know outcome of the meeting osida patrolman duga we have the Jimmy duga hain ko Jimmy Wells ari patrolman duga we ki bok thina ba kan da pino pani si kari ki no haibadi pa mana amna chingna ngai mo da hari ko dang amada wiki street corner ama da ge lepaga ade smoke tor ko ngai le kan policeman thina ba kan mo ki wari je ka dum direction se ki du chano ne ko police na no pa je phadu chala police na no pa je interrogation to du chala ha bi ko da ching na ba mo ko kari what is coming next ko mathang da kari la ka do no mathang da kari thola ka do no ha bi je ko the readers in the power level ko masi bu suspense ko ko da khangan da ko ke dong di to ko something is going to happen so the story is going to go to a certain place so adu is karam da lambi discipline no have the ko da khangan da ko masi je O Henry na yamna skillfully yamna haina we readers in the power level masi suspense arrival of Jimmy not announced immediately adune Jimmy to hek hobada wari je hobu kanda la even pa do Jimmy ni have so ko na khangan bane wari do ra kanda auna sida hek hobu kanda we O Henry na mana wari ji bu kanda ahan ba la policeman do Jimmy ni have so ko khangan de readers ko khangan de just cham ba policeman na ko magi patrolling sa la pa magi jai ma par ko magi baton have tare ko aduga magi pistol ha ga aduga par ga magi police uniform du ta police uniform se la ga magi patrolling cha ba magi bit hai ko magi de PET ko la sa ba police na ma le aduga mana bo kendra ga just ma ni se they were just talking normally ko something worry sana ko aduga kidon bo na aduga mana wai du throw ko policeman du ta policeman je mana mai ma na ba Jimmy Wells ne kang na te just mana ai sida nung gang jida ai na si corner de lepa ngai se ai crime commit to na te ko bo na have ni ko si je noi wari do para kan hena clear or kan ko just ai mana ba ma je hi kun ni mang ta ko je thina je na ko je promise to ngai bani adu gi mana to ngai le bani officer ai kem ta ka kan to na te ko na te na bo explain to ko sida ko da kana de explain to no se just any random police officer de explain to ma la le adu bu ko na di ka na kari kan ke ba kan da mana Bob na explain to riba police officer to ko mana kari ki mak man dang du ngai le no hai na man explain to riba police officer to magi mama na ba Jimmy Wells ko le to ni adu ni ko ki twist ending is instead that tall man in a long overcoat approaches and addresses Bob suspense is sustained through Bob's expression of doubt of the sida Jimmy Wells di ma police officer da ma hangam maga ko ma gi just wangang de ma na oh haina Bob ki wari yo tar sakre aduga atung ne ka Bob Jimmy Wells sar ga tare ko Bob pum sa khangba sar ga Jimmy Wells sar ga la ga ma bani wari sanare oda ko na Bob na ching da bam di phaw entai ko ma na ba se yam na hongam ba hai ba tare ko adu bu nungdang ni na amam ba du gi advantage to lawra ga ba jiki anoba policeman hai ba tare ko plain clothes ko khuisam sam dress casual dress civil hai ga civil dress selaga lilaga lai bu pajina mana Jimmy Wells ne haibo Bob na chingna raga ju akoi ti khazahan bu ko he bu haiba di mabani thingna je no sang nagi bani mabani se hi kun gi matung da khum khum je thingna ji ko haina gi bani na nupam la ga khoi gi Bob da yamna familiar oin haiba tare ko Bob na tro Bob na tro ko ka haiba kan de dum akoi da reader akoi ti ko Jimmy Wells haiba ma gi mama na ba se hi kun gi mama da mabani wasan na gi mama da la ma le ne na reader ko de paul le and they go although we sing na big pawn because of Bob's reaction have they go Bob na nangi na don do ki sahi kun have sam sang ma tam du sahi kun da mi gi na don jibu smine se or ba gi smine ka mai se bu no kan har ba gi ku dong ching bom pawn asine ba ku suspense hai je ko even though wari du da beram jai da pa ma pa la da Bob na drop ka ga ma hang ko la ga yam na family remong da har ga zu da ko akui da dum ching da bom di pawn suspense suspense is sustained through Bob's expression of doubt. Suspense heightened further when Bob know that the tall man is not Jimmy. On the last mana Bob na drugstore dugi minchen mang da drugstore dugi mai gan da mana yin khala ga nang Jimmy na te har ko ga da ko da mu shop cha le so ma twist ending ma ya mi ya ko ala sida ko gi readers ko da kai do ne ga side gi mana wari sanari bu pa je na side gi Jimmy Wells na claim to bu pa je Jimmy Wells na drama le ko ji ko last khala to ye matune. When Bob reads the note given to him, he and the readers come to know that the first patrolman is Jimmy himself. Oh, na ekhuiju Bob ka samane ko Bob hari se ki reader du ki eyes and ears ne have ju ko some of the higher de. Oh, na ekhuiju khang de ba. Ente ko wari ji matung na di policeman nam la ame some policeman nam la ame ko Bob na mai wari du li re hi kun yo mang da koi ai ga I man ba Jimmy Wells ka mafam sida hi kun matung da thingna ji na haina ki bani du ki officer ai man no ngai le have kan da policeman sakre ko ode de hoi de zoom phawle ko oh see is just common policeman nam la ka wan down to sumi ma sum labi ma ta ngai le du ki man ko sum ma na le ko da he ho bu da ki ko da sigi no pa je policeman la ije Jimmy Wells ne have so kun su ang china ko da kem ta china han de or in the way ko da kem ta phawon de have ta ko da kem ta suspicious o hende. Focus on action and gripping suspense contribute to dramatic quality of story. Aduna sida nasagi han the policeman na kanano ani suba policeman jina ani suba nupa jina Bob ne na claim to jina chuma chalo have questions pam jo kuna paring da apigi readers of the power aduni ko. Who is the narrator of the present story? Author himself is the narrator. The author masam tuna have the Bob na ko mana wari li to mai side gi wari boiler. Character of Jimmy Wells. Author introduces Jimmy Wells, policeman with an impressive walk. Ang nausida quick one na pari par tu di khange ko. Jimmy Wells ever said policeman nam oiler. After 20 years, he has become a policeman called New York. According to Bob, Jimmy is the finest chap in the world, and he is always the truest, staunchest chap in the world. Ang sida Bob na describe to ko Jimmy sa. Mana Jimmy to describe to ni khang de bi ko mana policeman nama wari sana pa kan da asa I man ba Jimmy to yamna pa nu pa ni ko yamna magun leiba yamna achum thabak to so nu pa ni kan mana hari sa mana hai jai du di Jimmy the hari ne ba atu bo mana di mana ngangi bo my words me ko mana wari sana nu pa je Jimmy ni khang da mana jahi kun ni matung ni na ko mi je plan change sore ko na som da Jimmy na jo ai Jimmy ni mana haiduk to ni na ko Bob ki side ki mana policeman and some policeman the wari saring it on so ai mana Jimmy du ngai tu ni jahi kun matung da ai jahi kun matung da oira ga jo Jimmy je la kan have thaji ka have kan da mana ka mai reasoning do bi ko bei na kan sam pha nu pa ni mana bo hire ga di ya thaja be nu pa ni ka have je ta padi it shows that Jimmy Wells was a very good character or a very good character person have ta ko a good officer, a good friend, a good person have ko police officer moving. Jimmy, true to Bob's trust in his close friend, comes to appointed place on time. Aduna, sagi Bob na mana ngai ga lai ni da policeman na lai do. Mato Jimmy Wells na magi mana ba Bob na gena la bu tu ni. Entare ko. Auda lai ba tibadi mana Bob to u ba kan da. Oh, ai mana ba Bob se uji Chicago police na tanari ba gangster criminal Bob hai ba do oi ko hai mana do noi ki do phau bi. Nde ko man lakti la Jimmy Wells matam tan lai ko masu sahi kun matungda I mana Bob tu kamai tori san masu khalam duine ko aduga mana la matungda mafam do yobu kan di mana khalui tu ko mana Bob tu thingara wari sam ko ban khalu bodo ek mana uba kan da masak tu kan khangi da ko police na ko masinu pa di wanted criminal tu ni ne agi friends wanted criminal ora me ko mana khang pale makes another policeman arrest Bob the wanted gangster oh na mana phabi ya sai kitang su pan ko Jimmy Wells na as a police officer hai batare ko magi matho pangthui ni na mana prof changjalaga ko aham thing na bakanda bo aham thing na mana phabe you are under arrest ko nang phare ko le na tan handcuffs thambi ba adubu ma to remember makuna ningjang do na Jimmy Wells se policeman na chuni policeman jo oilini as well as a very good friend apaba mama na jo ni na ko mana mama sam tu na phabu ngam ki tab to because Bob na nuai ki roi to ba Bob na ikai gi ga to ba ko Bob na humiliation phau yo do ba as a friend Jimmy Wells na fazna gyan tai aduna mana phabi gi mutta mana kem khazan da ba sar ga hai ba tare ko chakraga policeman na to pa ma plain clothes te pa sar ga mama samak sajala ko Jimmy Wells ne hajna ra ka chinu pa do phan ba so character of Jimmy Wells hai ga di a very loyal friend hai bi a very honest police officer hai bi ko mana bu for example context sama ga ko situation nga Jimmy Wells na yamna apapa honest law abiding ko law follow to ba police officer mo oram dragadi mana mai mama na base thadom bi ai natra mana khangsin da ba sara ko atun una sunar man bob nang chen gro ko nang je police na wanted or no pa mani nang adum chen gro hada kuina le no kan hai bi ai adu ma je afaba friend ju oi as well as afaba policeman na ju oi bani na mana policeman ni mathau duma fazana tawe o agi mana bo resu nang je criminal ha ba do oi ko nang je na thon bi ya tre nang je pha ba tare adubu nang je imana ba suoi aduna aina pha bu du nang je thoi no aro nang humiliate to your power ni auna mi to the phan so this shows that Jimmy Wells was both a very good friend as well as a very good police officer kangni ko cynical character of Jimmy Wells and explain to bakanda sumani explain to ya character of Bob ki through the gini ko when worries I am when discuss to even though he is successful in the West Bob never forgets his friend Jimmy and the appointment with him. Bob se pesa yam na pare ko. Maje obviously magi pesa pare paje through unfair means have tare ko. Hoba rom dagi de tre ko maje criminal amo wera ka gangster wera ko ma crime to no have the kitan zero tre ko. Atu maje criminal ne dikhange ona mana pesa pari do maje afaba means gi pai na tre. Atu bo maje crime gi lambi chathaba hai tare ko criminal amo wera ka zu he is still a very good friend have the yapnya and the justify to be ani ko maje criminal ni haraga juma ko mama na have the koi haiba yaye maram di kegin hoba kanda maje west adu maje Chicago police na ga tanara ga le ga maje west chin gi yaye ko western American states have that ko America gi west on sakra ga maje New York da la ga New York ki danger hai ta New York ki risk to ma ko sang khang ma lai ne ba police na phabi ai se New York da la kanda police na phabi ai ko hai ba sima khang ye bo na adu bok da mana mama na ba du da mana tham ki ba was have that ko promise to ma du di ma nga ka ni ma thun ki lai ne so at the risk of going to jail have that jail sang bi ai ko ai se criminal ni ko ai se police na phara ga di police amana ai se sak khang do ga di ko ai ki sak se ai sin positive sigi Bob city criminal to ne wanted criminal to ne na khang do ga di ai se jail sang bi ai ko je ma Bob khang do na te khang ni ne adubu sahi kun yo mangda ai yamna lu na jabe imana ba Jimmy ga ibani na tham gi ba promise ko ibani tham gi wasak to adum de ai nga ka ni na ma to inklai ne so this shows that Bob is a true friend of Jimmy Wells even though he is still a criminal or a and of a friend have the chungani positive side of his character his belief in friendship and affection for his friend when he comes after 20 years to appointed place on to make sure yes mana wari ji di mana negative character ni Jimmy Wells na positive character ko adu also mana mai mama na my friendship haiba concept na mana thajaba ko ma bu du sijaba mai mana du mana thagachaba ko sama pawai mana bani kan Jimmy du mana haisi ko odai ma je achum mai mana bani ai ki ma theng na ma na kani kana ma gi trust me am thamisa so this shows that Bob is a true friend ko even though he is not a perfect human being he is somebody ko ma crime guma commit to ru pa ni ko adu de ko khangi adu ma je criminal or ga ju friendship ki lamda de heta ko friendship ki area de ma amna a friend amani have the along with Bob's loyalty as a friend find out about the criminal record in the West. And sida apina khangi se Bob ki character ko ma se criminal ama West from the America gi West from the ma se criminal ama ora me have so khangi. Aduga ma ji yana loyal friend have se ani mak se reader apoi the khangal le wari ji. Prose stylings ko. Nostalgic yearning indicated by the repetition of the term 20 years. Sida 20 years have them twin high ko. Sida wiki Bob ka Jimmy gana ko babani na sahi kun mangi punsi ko. Moina yang ngang uri ngi moina naha uri ngi ko. Moina yang uri ngi matam dul halak pa bang da so tum ngame ba. Haibadi sahi kun da ahum me am la ko. Jimmy Wells na police officer ogre. Bob na gangster ko criminal ogre. Dubu sida moina sahi kun mamang tugi mong du halak na phawbani na babani ma mana policeman orju mana criminal orju moina unazi haigi bu makhum duda big Joe's restaurant to ko matam da leram mari jaga duda mabani ma khale policeman ju hali criminal ju hali. The present source story is based on action mani ko action ya mani ko sida travel to lakpa ko de di I ka tare patrolman ko police officer Jimmy Wells mai patrolling chalam ba Bob na ma ngai le ram ko simyam se Bob ma mai thinga ba ko na ba Bob na recognize to da ba ko do ko na Jimmy na policeman to bom thara ga Bob phan ba ko action yam no yaw ba wari in habitat to you. Bob comes to know that the tall man is not Jimmy, but this revelation ironically leads to a bigger revelation about identity of Bob as a criminal. Oh na Bob na mana drugstore ma pa dugi mengan tu da mana Jimmy di yengu ba kan da nang Jimmy na te na khang makan do leader ko de shop am chala le eng sa di ga wari sanai je Jimmy ga Bob ko wari sanai khalura ka Bob na di ma ga wari sanai ban pa ji Jimmy na te har kan de sida shop chaling ai da mu ko de kari mu nong ba shop mu bi gi ha ba kan do Henry na Bob se criminal oil ram bane khaja de ko ma je haro ko de gi di ma je mama na bu be na trust so ba mama na bu yam na kuina ba gi matung da na ge kan la so mi ma de so yam na normal lo mi ma du ko je ko hi kun matung na ma na lai no shine kan da ko na sympathetic ba character mo na khalu ba se Bob se na sa criminal or de Jimmy na policeman or na ta padi sida plot twist se amatang na te ba ani hum yo heavy adi Bob comes to meet his friend from 1,000 miles after 20 years. Ironically, same friend becomes responsible for arrest. So, the life of TV, the Hagadra, irony, Haragadico, Mana, Unaba, Laiba, Duna, Mabu, jail the Chanhan Bagi Habitareko, Mabu, arrest Togi, Madame Doman Wiki. Irony present is in above two instances called cosmic irony or irony of fate. Fate the life of Tom Bob na criminal oraga, Jimmy Wells na policeman oraga. Jimmy na Bob Pagani have say fate never live to them na sida Bob na so one west from the giko thousands and thousands of miles from the command like that laga sahi kun matunda magi lu na tinzo mama na du buthing na doini laga zu live activity haga tra na tra mai marai bakta magi tamam basi kain hob kata magi crime to na magi criminal mo ina leire aduga manu na zagi na live man china policeman oram chineba irony has that is some to ko Jimmy, being a conscientious police officer or policeman, got his friend Bob arrested. Jimmy said, even though true friend or Jew, a policeman, a poignant story, happy and deep, meaningful, and contains a lot of suspense. What will happen next? With a PS flip to what is the suspense. The major characters, Jimmy Wells and Bob, are delineated through description, dialogue, and incident. My worry, my description, the trap, Bob, so much comment away. Jimmy was a comment away, but the incident could tell away incident. May have to know we worry, we geek at our approach, just hackle every one. So, then some of those go. Excuse me. Oh, Henry have writers a call. The gift of the Magi Kumba, the duplicity of Hargraves, the ransom of Red Chief, as well as the novel Cabris and King Iramiko. My popular very young stories known for naturalist observation. Havati Unkuzu Hierarchical. O Henry na Isoropoze, Yaman naturalism the base of it. Have the objective scientific truth Diabetareko, Mazishida extra Hudson day. Man see the romanticized of the man uba manating of the as it is common itore. Do you want it? I don't talk with my worries in the Tazabaki Champion Wang or Utopia. I have to call relatable way of return of Babakat. See what is the a single. It could have really happened at the time. Paul what Michael Legacy the O Henry or whatever they say he couldn't give people. Maze 1862 American Civil War among the Popani aduga maje liability badi mana bank ta thapam toringeta paisa gi matang ka sena badi ko $854 and 8 cents sena badi matang gi maje jail da thamui ko chahi manga jail lai ona maje adugi rai do ta gi ko adugi sentence su phangi hebta aduga man jail lai badi maje I bahore adugi man O Henry have mingje pseudonym natraka pen name ko mana ri ban sida William Sydney Porter and my name sang ko adi mutamana O Henry ni gi adugi maje behavior fazabagi good behavior na maram oraga chahi manga legada to only chahi ohum dang leraka maje jail dai thato pire 1902 da maje New York City da my miyum honge have tare ko aduga New York City da lebadagi neba mana aming chape hengalakpa ko ibagi chang hengalise New York City da 381 source tourist money ko yam thame ko am tapde aduga mani irakpa source tourist singje ayam matamda common people ko common everyday people police officer boero office worker boero waitresses boero criminal social outcasts sukum manayama based oraga dui characters in sineba kings queens magical supernatural over the camp half the manako adi one aduga mani irakpa kana masagi matamda dum based wi early 20th century ko 1901 to 1910 da ko man legi 1910 da legi ko was called the American answer to French naturalist Guy de Maupassant ona Guy de Maupassant ibagi mong duga O Henry ni ibagi mong duga yamna manaba jaga yawni nako abani se apabarom da compare to ko favorably compare to even adu maje alcoholic am oibani na maje 1908 da magi haksang yam tina suchale aduga level team na 1910 da mana sahi ke hatare yang thini thoi hadaga anate yang khai adai mu haitare ko adai mu yo kan maje legi tre aduga ma legi dra matunda magi mang da haitare ko magi mong pham da haitare Mina magi leaders na magi fans na batare $1.87 ko in change achui ko magi thamam sida ina photo ite so sei ko sida magi monda magi mabu appreciate to mo ina ko magi du symbolic na appreciation mo ina magi mong da thambi adu ga si one is a plot of after 20 years se Jimmy Wells havonga Bob havonga obani je sei kun yo mangda mapam du da sei kun gi matung da habatare ko unaji hena wani promise lagi Bob na han life ko to Bob na ngai le Bob china Big Joe's restaurant haba ko mamgi mamang da man ngai le ko matam du le ba haba ta hojik le gi jo man ngai ni da policeman am lai policeman la ka man policeman hai police officer ko officer I came to crime kai ka bi to bi wan te I just man ba mo ngai bi ko man wai li tor ko ne du ko sei kun yo mang da ai man ba Jimmy Wells ka ibani si mapam jida sei kun matung na zen bani promise to nagi aduna IC ki pakum sa kala ne do police officer no wari tar matunda madi magi patrolling no tasakre ko after that matam khari matunda mu dupa male dupa du na mu ban hai ai Jimmy Wells ne mana Bob da introduce to je ko do Bob ka Jimmy Wells ka bani wari sana ba hore sai kun matunda ko aduga moina makom de phone ga sum walking on la ta kan da drug store ma da hai di pharmacy ko ko mamang da mai ngan du da hai ba tare kinona Bob na on to yung ba kan da mang sai ko chami na ri dupa je Jimmy Wells ne claim to de nang Jimmy Wells ante Jimmy Wells ki na tone de main to de Jimmy Wells ki height de main to de hire pa ne or de di dupa na hire pa ne ai Jimmy Wells tate ai di police officer ni hire ga mala chi ma pi ko chi de da ka yarong ge ba kan da I han han nang sai theng na ge ba police officer do madu wor me Jimmy Wells duka Jimmy Wells ti ki no gi Bob ki true friend na mana Bob se arrest to no ngam gi do san ai na par ga di Bob se humiliated or humiliation power tare humiliation feel to batare ma kala da mana chidi do I command ko aina phabai mutta aina police officer atopom tharaga nang pahan ba as a policeman mai matho to panto ta biya da ko magi friend ni haraga mana ka mana thado ki ni ma je wanted criminal oiler ne ko Bob sina anta ko di Bob si wanted criminal atuga Jimmy Wells na police officer ora ba sine ba kuina O Henry ki plot twist sai masida ko gi character of Jimmy Wells ko discuss to character of Bob discuss to ko ana Jimmy Wells being a conscientious policeman got his friend Bob arrested maji police officer mo ibina even though magi friendship to adu ju ma later na ma du arrest to biya da gi ma arrest to ko adu ga suspense am ne wa story ni adu ga masida twist ending have ta ko o gi plot twist ka to tasni awi ko sida plot twist ka ina wa kanda Jimmy Wells na plot twist ani hum bi aur have ta masi wari sida ko han bada Jimmy Wells ne claim to no pa do Jimmy Wells oram ta police officer to ko moram ani subada Jimmy Wells na masagi hana na thena gi ba masaki tak ta police officer do Jimmy Wells oramba hum subada Bob na criminal oramba so these are the plot twists which are present in after 20 years so masini ko masiki lecture after 20 years by O Henry ki matang da discuss to da base masigi lecture da top labor ko ki nang kyan ta da khot was la yaur gadi next class tamu we discuss topic opportunity bangani ko. So we'll wrap up here for today. Okay.